we can go ahead and get those out of the way. Jacksonville State, outstanding football team. They will go on and beat some people. You hear that all that. Well, big deal. Okay. Auburn was holding out a lot of its best players. I mean, that's always a good one.
We were holding back offensively.
Auburn never plays well at 11 o'clock. I've heard that one quite a bit. This was Jacksonville State's Super Bowl. It meant a lot. It was, this same thing was said against Louisville. This was their Super Bowl. They would put everything they had into this game. How about the game? Gamecocks almost played flawless. I mean, they just played. That was played out of their minds.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with our play.
Eli Jenkins absolutely played phenomenal. Now, Auburn didn't open the playbook. Played very, very vanilla. That's accurate, I would think.
Yeah, I do too.
Gamecock. This is one of my favorites in the Tuberville era. They were slanting.
No, the famous USC game where they were slanting. They were slanting their defensive line.
So, did I miss any? I mean, that's pretty much. Now, all those things are true, actually. But you know what? In the words of the Rock, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
I mean, all those are true, but it's just like you said. I mean, there's no way to spin it other than to say it was an embarrassment. It really was. I mean, and
why does it have to be this way?
Eli Jenkins made some of the. He
made some great throws,
beautiful back shoulder throws that cannot be defended. The receivers caught passes. I mean, they've got a very good running back there. But the thing that troubled me the most is their first team didn't look a lot different than our first team.
Here's what I want to go to, and I want to hear everybody else's take on this. Why does it have to be a drop off every 2 years? Why does the last year not have any bearing on what happens this year and then the previous year and in the previous? I mean, we build on nothing. Nothing ever gets. I mean, we can't ever go, man, they went 8-5, but they got a lot of people coming back next year. I know they lost some guys, but man, the media bought in somehow. I mean, they bought in and said we're going to, they predict us win the SEC championship. All right, so they feel like we had something coming in, and 2 years ago we played for national championship. Last year we were in the top four pretty much throughout 3/4 of the season until we kind of had a fall off there at Texas A&M and we finally dropped out and lost coming down the stretch. But for the most part, why does it have to be this? Why are we the anomaly? We are the outlier. Our last season has no bearing on what comes out of the gate the next year. I mean, we're just as apt to go 13-1 or go 3-9. I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't know. I mean, and you look, and I know you don't want to compare yourself to Alabama, but the time has come now where Auburn is recruited, where everybody on both sides of the ball are 4- and 5-star guys. And maybe we still have a little depth issue in places, but for the most part, man, we've got great talent down there. Our recruiting classes have been really good. So, Alabama goes into the season, everybody's laughing, and, they can't find a quarterback. And and we finally go into the season for the first time with a solidified quarterback, and it seems like it's all flip-flop now. But Alabama, regardless of their quarterback situation, the wheels don't fall off for them. They just trudge right along. And I know they didn't look really good Saturday, but they ended up winning 38-7, 31-7, whatever it was. I mean, I don't know what the final was. I can't remember.
37-3 or 37-10.
Whatever.
37-10.
By then it didn't really matter to me. But I mean, they still, I mean, they got one out there and they proved that they were a lot better team than the team that they were playing. And there's no doubt, here's Ole Miss riding all this high wave, and all you hear are the prognosticators and the analysts talking about, Ole Miss is good and they're going to be great, but Alabama will find a way to win the game. If Ole Miss was coming into Jordan-Hare this Saturday, you think anybody'd be giving Auburn a chance at home? You think anybody would be giving us a chance to win that ball game right now?
Not about what I've seen.
Okay, well then, so that's the difference right now. The difference in the consistency. Finding a way to build off your momentum or build off your expectations instead of falling completely off the cliff, which I know we haven't yet. You're 2-0, but you're going to a very tough place Saturday afternoon. Thank goodness it's Saturday afternoon and not Saturday night.
Well, look, Auburn, I watch the replay, and I often do that, and I usually feel better after I watch a replay. I think I felt worse after I watched the replay. I was going to say, if you felt better after watching that one. But you know what? When I watched that last 4 or 5 minutes, I felt pretty good. And, when you go back and you really look at Jeremy's numbers, 21 of 32, 236 yards and 2 touchdowns, I'll take that. But it's the 2 interceptions that are just killing. I mean, you can't turn the ball over 6 times in 2 games. That's not winning football. Auburn's got to figure out a way, to get better at that. But I thought Jeremy improved. He threw 236 yards. That's more about what I thought we could do. But we didn't run the ball worth anything until the last few minutes of the game. Can we build on that? Can we take what we did in that last 2 drives and overtime and build on that? I hope so. We better, because if we don't, what I've seen in the first 2 games, from Auburn won't win an SEC game.
Well, no, and then you go down there to LSU, and this is why I'm not too upset about it, because LSU, they're at home, but they can run the ball with Fournette. They got a good offensive line, but Brandon Harris isn't very good. All right, so and he threw for 77 yards, and Mississippi State, once they got down 21-7, decided we're going to put 8, 9 in the box and dare Brandon Harris to throw it, and he couldn't do it. And so they didn't even score anymore. They didn't even score another point the rest of the game, and Mississippi State chipped back at them and had a chance to win at the very end. So they've shown that all they can do really is run the football. But he is a scrambling quarterback, and so far in 2 ball games, we've shown on defense that we don't handle the scrambling quarterback very well. And Brandon Harris can run. Now, he gets outside the pocket, he can create havoc, and he can create some plays. So that's something we got to deal with. But if Auburn this is not an LSU team I go down there and feel hopeless about. I feel like we have no chance of winning, because we do. We got probably as much a chance, if not a better chance, than LSU winning the ball game. But we got to go down there and play good. You can't turn the football over, and you can't make a bunch of mistakes, and you can't get down 14, 17, nothing. This team, I don't think, mentality-wise, can bounce back from that.
But you want to feel a little worse than you did before?
Wow, thanks.
Houston, goes on to beat Louisville. Louisville has 238 yards rushing against Auburn. It's 70 against Houston. Lamar Jackson had over 100 yards rushing against Auburn. He had, I think, 16 against Houston.
And Houston beat them 34-31.
Now, Louisville did have a chance to get a field goal to tie the game and send it to overtime and missed it. I think it was partially blocked. It was a long field goal, but
can I tell you this, though?
Even though that was at home for them, and they had 70 yards rushing. They threw for over 300
and
yards.
Guess who they've got coming in this week? Clemson. And you know what the point spread on that game was? Or it's gone up. It was 5. Clemson by 5. What are they watching? What are we? Of course, Vegas knows more than what we know, obviously. It's weird how it all plays out, but it's hard not to say, man, woo. I'm liking Clemson a lot in that pick for sure. Right now, I think it's up 6.5, 7 by some stretches. But still, you got Clemson picked to win by 7 over Louisville right now.
Tell us about what you thought about the game Saturday. Is
about 70.
The SEC overrated? That is our question of the day. We're taking your predictions as well. Up against the break here, but don't go anywhere. More Sportscall presented by Home Place Mortgage right after this.
Make your tailgate rock and roll with Jimmy's Car Stereo. With top-of-the-line sound equipment from Kenwood, Pioneer, Alpine, JL Audio, and lots more. Jimmy's is the area leader in car audio. Let fans of other teams tremble before your custom-built tailgate system and show everyone who's really number one. If it rolls, Jimmy's can make it rock. They're open 9 to 6 at 908 Opelika Road in Auburn. Upgrade your tailgating experience to championship level today with Jimmy's Car Stereo.
Happiness has no finish line. It's a constant pursuit.
Happiness doesn't need a reason, because it is the reason. Charter Bank is committed to your pursuit of happiness.
Today is the first day of the rest of my happiness.
However you choose to pursue happiness, Charter Bank is here to help you pursue it. At the end of the day, we do what makes us happy.
I give myself permission to pursue happiness.
Charter Bank. Pursue your happiness.
Beechwood aged. Proudly domestic. Macro, we stand. Budweiser, this bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
We are coming to you live from the WTKO News Chopper, where we are on the hunt for the legendary TK's convenience store. Said to have the best deals on goods like 20-ounce Pepsis, 2 for $2.50, Woodbridge wine, 1.5 liters for $9.99, and all your daily necessities, as well as the most competitive prices on gas with brand names like Texaco, Valero, and Chevron. It is believed to have the cleanest store to better get you in and out in a flash. With great deals like those, the only place to go is TK's convenience store. And there we found it. With 15 locations to better serve you, there is no way you can't find one of these great stores.
Auburn Links at exit 51 features Bermuda grass greens and rolling fairways along Parkinson's Mill Creek. By taking advantage of the natural beauty already in place, Auburn Links is a scenic yet fair layout for every golfer. Golf Digest presented Auburn Links with the 4-star award, and Links Magazine once ranked the course 3rd best among public courses in the Southeast region. It's one of the best golfing values in the South. Visit their website for more information at auburnlinks.com. For tee times, call 887-5151.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Tuesday edition of Sports Call. Andy and Brett here with you until 6 o'clock, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free or locally at 334-887-3401 on the Auburn Opelika Tourism Hotline. Sports Call today brought to you by Lee Marketing Group. From logo design and branding to ad placement, LMG can handle it all. For ease of time, cutting-edge, results-driven marketing campaigns, think Lee Marketing Group, your comprehensive marketing solution. Be sure to check them out at leemarketing.net. Again, our question of the day, is the SEC overrated? And we'll check in your predictions. We'll take them all week. Auburn at LSU, Leonard Fournette rushing yards. And I'll go ahead and throw out a trivia question. Josh Barge had 14 receptions for the Gamecocks of Jacksonville State over the weekend. Who holds the Auburn record for receptions in a single game? Who holds the Auburn record for receptions in a single game? And we'll go to the AO Tourism Hotline.
Yeah, Steve, you're on Sports Call with us.
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen.
How are you, Steve?
Much better than yesterday or Saturday, to say the least.
Yeah, one day further down the line now.
Yeah, I'm still trying to recover from my heavy sedation. In the words of the late Peter Boyle, I was at the game Saturday. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's the best way I can describe it. But on to more serious things. I came across two interesting articles, and one of them was on Auburn Undercover this morning by Rob Pate. He writes really well, and I would strongly recommend if people can get that website to read his article. He had some really good observations on what he believes the most serious concerns and struggles are, and they're not on the defensive side, it's on the offensive side. Have you read his article yet?
I have not yet. I hadn't had a chance to read that. Can you give us the highlights?
The highlights, basically, he believes that the offense has not got an identity that they need, and that some of it is apparently predicated on Malzahn not apparently having Mr. Jerry Johnson just go straight to the middle of the line when we're playing against teams, especially coming up, and let Jeremy experience getting hit. Let him just experience it and let him find out that he can take it, he can handle it, instead of being so apparently kind of like just reluctant to go running and get hit. And he said it doesn't help that the offensive line is constantly being changed. But having said all that, I also want to get your comments on another website I go to. It's trackemtigers.com. Are you familiar with that website?
Yes.
Okay, well, they have some really good writers on there. One of them, mentioned by his internet name or logging name, is called Acid Rain, and he mentioned this morning that there's a rumor, and I want to see if you'd confirm this, or I have not heard about it, that Carl Lawson may be done for the season.
Wow. Well,
I have not heard that one yet.
That either.
Certainly couldn't confirm it.
Well, there was an AL.com article out earlier in the actually yesterday. I'm sitting here earlier in the week, it was yesterday that I read that, Carl Lawson's really frustrated with his injury situation since he's been at Auburn, that, never got hurt one time in high school and missed all of last year. And then now, a half of football under his belt this year, and he gets injured again. So I know he's really frustrated. He's such a great player, a good person, but I just can't seem to stay healthy enough to stay on the field. But we desperately need him. Montravius Adams came out and said, man, we need him in more ways than you know. And I know Montravius Adams out there has been busting his rear end. It didn't even really come out of the game Saturday. Played the whole game and was still getting in the backfield. But, Steve, going back to your comment earlier, it's not like Jeremy Johnson has, and I'm with you on this. It's not like Jeremy Johnson just rolled into town as a true freshman and all these expectations were based on a guy walking out of high school just a few months ago. I mean, he's been down there around the system for 2 years. And that's why there were so many high expectations. And a lot of reason why there were so many high expectations on this team was because of Jeremy Johnson. And he's come out, and it's truly been baffling, especially after the small pieces of work that we've been able to analyze with him against Arkansas and then coming in and playing for Nick Marshall that game when Nick Marshall was out a couple years ago and was hurt. I mean, I'm just truly baffled at how he's struggling so mightily right now.
Well, that too, and a rather candid comment made on Saturdays after the game, little video clips with Montravius Adams, as you mentioned him earlier. Did you happen to hear what he said when asked about their performance?
No, I didn't catch that part. I just read a lot of the quotes. It may be some of the stuff that I read. What did he say?
Well, it was rather shocking, brutally honest. He said that they didn't practice very hard, and more shocking was that he made a comment, and these are his words, we took them for granted.
Well, I definitely think that played a little bit in, but after the first quarter was over and it was a slugfest, I think you should have woken up a little bit by then. And and here's Montravius Adams, who looks like he's emerging as one of the team leaders and has really caught a lot of flack over the last couple of years as a guy that doesn't go very hard. Well, I don't think anybody can say that about him now. He's living up to his 5-star status that when he came out of high school, and that is shocking considering that all we heard over the offseason was this defense was going to be a lot more physical and we were going to go hard in practice. We thought that hurt us last year, not going as hard in practice, and for him to come out and say that seems like we're going back to the same old stuff again.
Yeah. Getting back to Carl Lawson, I understood that he had a hip flexor and that was not a long-term or season-ending injury. Was I incorrect on that?
They have not. I don't think they have officially said what his injury is, but yeah, I mean, hip pointer, hip flexor, it was something of that nature, and I don't see that. I don't know how that could be season-ending.
All right, 2 questions, guys. I'll hang and listen to you. Thanks for being patient with me. What do you realistically see as our chance of being able to win at LSU Saturday, and how many wins do you realistically believe we can, at this point, have for the rest of the season? Thank you, and War Eagle anyways.
Thank you, Steve. I'll answer the second one first. No clue right now how many games this team could win. I'm being serious. I mean, this team could rebound and win the next 2 games, and we're all talking about, man, we just had a blunder that day. We weren't awake. Then you could go down there and get run out of Tiger Stadium, and you go, man, I've seen this happen before. You can leave scratching your head. I think we can beat LSU. I said that earlier this is not a world-beating LSU team, and this is a team we beat 41-7 at home last year. It's the same quarterback that struggled all last year for LSU. He struggled against Mississippi State. He only had 77 passing yards. He can run it, but their bread and butters are Leonard Fournette. So you know what they're going to try to do. And LSU's an old-fashioned football team. They don't try a lot of trickeration and a lot of different things. They just try to line up and run over. And that's what they're going to try to do. So we've got to be able to stop the run. And Mississippi State proved that when they decided to go 7, 8, 9 men in the box and shut Fournette down and force Brandon Harris to throw the ball, they didn't move the ball very well at all and didn't score another point the rest of the game. So I think this is not a world-beating LSU team. We can go to Death Valley and win this game, but we can't turn the ball over. And the 2 teams that have shown up the first 2 weeks for Auburn definitely can't roll into Tiger Stadium and win.
Yeah, I don't think I would echo those. You have to react to what you've seen every week. That's why they have a new poll. They go and re-examine and have a new poll every week because you're basing it on what you've seen. From what I've seen in the last 2 games, moving forward in this season, if that team shows up every week, I think Auburn win 5 games for the rest of the season. If they can improve, which I think there's potential to improve in leaps and bounds, then I think that number goes up considerably.
This is still the team.
Just based on what I've seen. 5 wins is what this team looks
based
like.
Based on
right
the body of work to this point, which is 2 games.
Yeah.
And I think that's a realistic deal. On the other hand, I want you to take real quick before we go to break, because I know we got Brian Matthews coming up at 4:30 here right now. Well, Jeremy Johnson just didn't walk in the building in this summer. He didn't walk in the building in July. He's been there for 2 years, Andy. That's why I think everybody's shocked that his play, it's not like he doesn't have the capability and the physical tools to play in the expectations. But now that it's his team, and you saw signs last year, a lot of people with the controversy of Nick Marshall playing versus Jeremy Johnson, he even made some off the cuff, a little bit remarks on Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, like, I'm ready for this to be my team and, all this. There's just so much expectation built up, and he's had the opportunity to go out there the first 2 games and really show the nation that he is a top prospect. And right now he's just not doing it.
No, absolutely not. And I think that's surprised everybody, including Jeremy Johnson, I would imagine.
I think so.
Up against a break here. Hopefully when we come back, we'll be joined by Brian Matthews from AuburnSports.com. Don't go anywhere. More Sportscall presented by Lee Marketing Group is on the way. You think I'm so sexy, I'm just so.
Fast passes to Magic Bands and other Disney experiences. Call Fairy Tale Journeys today and start making your Disney dream come true. 256-825-2668.
Ever envisioned watching your favorite team score a touchdown from the comfort of your dream home? I'm Angela Van Houten with Century 21 Lake Area Realty. I want to help you find the home that's perfect for your lifestyle. Whether it's a lake home with a perfect deck or a home in the country with acres of land, you aren't buying just a home. You're buying a lifestyle. Call or text me today, 256-596-0566. Visit my website, avhlakemartin.com. Angela Van Houten, helping families like yours make memories of a lifetime.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Call on this Tuesday afternoon. Andy Graham here with you until 6 o'clock, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free, locally at 334-887-3401. We'll pick up your phone calls in the next segment, but right now we want to go to the AO Tourism Hotline and welcome in our good friend Brian Matthews from auburnsports.com. Brian, how are you today?
I'm doing great. It's always good to be with you guys.
Thanks so much for being here. Brian, you didn't happen to minor in psychology, did you? Because I think I might need some therapy today.
We were just talking about that earlier. Just don't know. It's hard to figure out what's going on with Jeremy. And, it could be a confidence problem, and call it psychological. I know that can be like a bad term sometimes, but you know what I mean? It might be just a thing of him needing to get that confidence back.
Yeah, I think that's definitely so. I think I need to get some confidence back, so I could use as much. Right? Yeah. Well, how about the video board? That was very impressive. I think it was as advertised.
Yeah. It's what I expected. It was very big, and I could only see about half of it from my seat in the press box. So that's just an indication of just how large it is.
Yeah, well, I think that's, we've talked about it before. They need to, when they do some renovations on the other end of the stadium, maybe move the press box around, you'll have a better view of it. But
that's true.
What can you say about Saturday, Brian? It was it was an FCS team. It was a very, very good FCS team. They've moved to number one in the country, but you can throw out as many cliche excuses as you'd like. The bottom line is the game should never have been within 4 touchdowns.
That's right. And, they narrowly avoided one of the worst losses in Auburn history, which is something you don't want to say about any game. So they were very fortunate. When Rock Thomas fumbled down there, about 3 minutes left. I thought, geez, this is actually going to happen, or it's close to happening. And Jacksonville State made a number of mistakes from that time on that really allowed Auburn to sort of get back in that thing. And of course, Auburn did a good job there in the final drive and then in overtime. But this Auburn team has to get a much better this week. I mean, much better headed to LSU. LSU is not a powerhouse, but if Auburn plays like it did the first 2 games, they will look like a powerhouse Saturday afternoon.
How much do you give Jacksonville State credit for Saturday and what took place? I mean, obviously, Eli Jenkins played tremendous. He made some of the better back shoulder throws I think I've ever seen a college quarterback make. It seemed like you said, they played fairly flawless up until the last 3 minutes of the game, and then it just seemed like the moment became too big for them. But, where would you put it as far as Auburn's deficiencies and Jacksonville State rising to the occasion?
I give them credit. They played very well, but this is about Auburn. They should have won that game by multiple touchdowns. Should have been able to put it away by the third quarter. Should have been able to play a lot more young players and give some guys some more experience and build some confidence heading into LSU. But it didn't happen. And whether or not Auburn can improve or not, we talked to Gus today, and he pretty much guaranteed it. He didn't say I guarantee it, but he said this offense will get better, and Jeremy Johnson will get better, and they've got a plan to get it done. So we'll see. They've got a lot of work to do.
Well, certainly there were a few positives in the game. Montravius Adams certainly being one. The knock on him was always a guy that maybe take a play off here and there. He's been a beast, really. The first 2 games he's been in the backfield almost every play. Just talk a little bit about him and his emergence so far.
It's been terrific. He's what you want. He's a guy that's gotten better every single year. He's tapping that talent that he has, that he's always had, is playing his best when he was challenged to do so. And he keeps this up. He's going to have a great year for Auburn. That defense is going to continue to get better as everybody sort of learns to play their position, to play within the scheme and get some more experience. And he's going to get a nice fat paycheck here next spring if he keeps this up. He's playing terrifically. And you know, you get guys like Trey Matthews and Carl Lawson back on defense. I think that side of the ball, even though they're giving up some yardage and you know, they're not doing as well on third down as they need to, you can see the potential there, and the potential to be much, much better once they get their players healthy and get some of those young cornerbacks more experience.
Do you think Saturday was the best game Casanova McKenzie has played since he's been an Auburn Tiger?
You know, it's tough to say, but he definitely played well. He definitely played well. I think those linebackers still have work to do in this system. They still get out of position. I think Casanova did the best of the group, and certainly made some terrific plays, some important plays in the second half. Played a very productive game. I think Will Muschamp said he was the most productive linebacker in that game. But I think just as a defense overall, I think part of the problems with the run defense and giving up some of those chunk yardage, those big runs, are just the linebackers not setting the edge properly or not fitting their run right. And that's something they need to get straightened out by the time LSU rolls around.
Another guy that is really playing well for Auburn is Rudy Ford, a guy that is not a natural safety, but has moved there and has excelled there. He also looks pretty good returning kicks too. But as thin as the secondary has been, I'm a little surprised that they continue to put him back there. Are you?
Maybe a little bit, but Chris Davis returned punts all season in 2013, and Auburn was pretty fit at that cornerback position. So I think Auburn places a lot of value on special teams in the return game, and Rudy Ford has that electric speed and is capable of changing a game and winning a game for Auburn by being back there. So I think you'll continue to see him and Ricardo back there, and they'll probably use Rock and carry on more too as the season goes on. But he's been terrific. Led the team in tackles last year, is on the way to do it again. But I think more than that, he's become more of a complete safety, a guy that's going to be a real dangerous weapon back there in the secondary, especially when you get Trey Matthews back and they can start working together a little bit more.
And the other bright spot, of course, Peyton Barber, 2 weeks in a row. Now he steps up, really has a tremendous second half. It just seemed like Auburn couldn't do much of anything running the football in the first half. But this guy, it makes you wonder, if he's been like this the whole time. I mean, he's a gamer. He's that play in overtime on third down for him to fight his way inside the 5-yard line. That was that was something that maybe you look back on, hopefully, this season and say, man, that was an important play for this team moving forward.
He has saved the season so far. I mean, he won the Louisville game, and he definitely won that, Jacksonville State game. And like you said, that play he made on the swing pass where he caught it about the 20 and spun away from tackle, broke through, ran over another guy, and ran through a few more to get down, inside the 4 there and get that first down. Was just one of the better plays I've seen, one of the better individual plays I've seen from Auburn player in quite a while. So it's impressive what he's done. He's certainly earned the right to be the number one guy, which he will be going to LSU.
Well, Brian, when you look at it, what's your opinion? Why is the offense having such a difficult time getting on track?
Well, I think a couple of things. Number one, Jeremy Johnson is not playing up to any potential anybody believes he can play up to. Even being an average SEC quarterback, he's well below that right now. And you cannot play winning football and offense if your quarterback is playing like Jeremy is playing right now. Now, he has made some plays that sort of balance out those, poor decisions, those interceptions. He's thrown 5 of them, but it's not enough. If he does that against good defenses like LSU, it's going to get ugly, I think, for Auburn. So he's got to cut down on those turnovers and throwing the ball directly to defensive backs. And I think the other big issue for Auburn offense is just the explosive plays. They've had one run over 20 yards. They've only had 2 passes over 25 yards. That's not what you normally see out of Gus Malzahn on offense. And I think there are a number of things contributing to that. I think it's good, I think Jeremy Johnson struggles. I think the offensive line has been inconsistent. Had a lot of penalties. They've, 4 guys will do a great job, 1 guy won't type thing. That happens sometimes early in the season. I think the wide receivers are doing a below average job with their blocking. And that really hurts those explosive plays because you need that blocking to get to that second level or get through that second level. And they're not doing it right now up to probably the standards I think Auburn has there. So I think there are a number of things going on there, but there are also things that are correctable, some things that can get better as the season goes on.
Can you give us the latest report on the injuries at Auburn? I know Josh Holsey, Will Muschamp said it didn't look good. What's the latest on that? Maybe Trey Matthews looked fine on the sideline Saturday. Trey, I think Carl Lawson's the one that everybody's concerned about, though.
Yeah, Josh Holsey tore his ACL, his left knee, for the second time. Did it back in 2013 before the Texas A&M game. He's going to have surgery and be out for the season. Gus said he'll talk to him about it, but, he is eligible for a medical hardship waiver called a medical red shirt, which means he can come back for a fifth year next year if he chooses to do so. We'll have to wait and see on that. And then, the other guys, Gus called them all day today. Avery Young had an ankle injury. He was dressed out, looked like he was ready to go if needed. So, I have no reason to believe that he won't play this Saturday unless he suffers another setback. And, even though Carl Lawson was on crutches, if you watch Carl, he was walking pretty normally and was just using those crutches for support when he was standing still mostly. So, I feel like the plan all along was to have him and Trey ready to go for LSU because of how important they are for this defense. So, if their body responds, if they can handle playing through a little bit of pain, I think both of them will play Saturday. I'd be surprised if they did. And I'm trying to think, I think Justin Garrett's okay. He has a quad injury, but I think they don't think it's very major. So I think he can probably come back and play. And then Javon Robinson turned his ankle, but he looked like he was about ready to go Saturday and wanted to play. So he should be fine for this weekend too.
Well, Brian, we really appreciate you joining us as always. Just kind of give us a preview of what we can expect from auburnsports.com this week.
Yeah, we put up a bunch of information from Gus Malzahn's press conference today, and we'll have a lot more analysis. JG does a great job with his breakdowns of different plays on offense and defense. We'll have that coming up this week, and of course we'll have much more on the big game at LSU. I think this is going to be a defining moment for this year's football team in Baton Rouge, how they rise up to this occasion and what they're able to do. So it's a big game. We're going to write a lot more about it coming up.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. I agree with that 100%. Brian, we thank you so much. You have a great week, okay?
All right, thank you.
Up against a break here, but don't go anywhere. More Sports Call presented by Lee Marketing Group right after this.
Shelf stock, doors unlocked, open sign on. So, customers, any minute now. Who are you? I'm you from the future. I'm English in the future. Nope.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Call on this Tuesday afternoon. Andy and Brett here with you until 6 o'clock, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9, toll-free locally at 334-887-3401 on the Auburn Opelika Tourism Hotline. Is the SEC overrated? That is our question of the day. And then we're taking your predictions. Auburn at LSU, Leonard Fournette, rushing yards. That will be the tiebreaker. And a trivia question out there today. Josh Barge had 14 receptions for the Gamecocks over the weekend against Auburn. Who holds the Auburn record for receptions in a single game? Who holds the Auburn record for receptions in a single game?
You know, maybe what Gus Malzahn and Rhett Lashley need to do is do what you and I just did during the break and pull up the first half highlights of Auburn, Arkansas last year. And at one point, I mean, Jeremy Johnson was through the first 2.5 drives was 7 for 7. Already had a touchdown pass, and man was making reads, a pretty slant pattern over the middle, 2 pretty slant patterns over the middle. I mean,
and you know those passes he was throwing, 12-yard passes, whereas now we're even throwing behind the line of scrimmage.
That's right.
I mean, and I don't know. It's just the whole offense is just sputtering right now.
But I mean, this was last year. This time last year.
I don't know who that guy is. But that's not the guy I've seen the first 2 games.
And what did Jesse Palmer call him? Andy, I'll let you tell everybody when he ran onto the field.
A freak of nature.
A freak of nature. He said this guy, and it was accolade after accolade because the year before he'd come in 2 games and played for Nick Marshall and got freshman of the year both times. Okay, so I mean freshman of the week both times. So it's not like, oh well, and that's what that's my point on the baffling here. I mean, this has been going on. This has been a buildup. It's shown no signs of a crack in the foundation at all. Let's go back to the phone lines. Anthony, you're on Sports Call. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good, man.
Before I get my pick in, I just wanted to say that having played 2 weeks, haven't been the starter for 2 weeks, and hadn't played well at quarterback, don't you guys think it's time to go to the number 2 man, give him an opportunity to see what he can do?
I don't think I'm there yet. I think it's too early. I mean, Jeremy Johnson he's still got the physical tools he had last year. He's still got the physical tools that he had his whole life. I think it's just a matter of just, he's got to learn on the job. Maybe he is not ready to play at an elite level, apparently. So maybe that was a mistake on our part to believe that he was. He's got an opportunity to learn from his mistakes, and I'm not ready to pull him yet, although I know that is maybe a popular opinion by some.
Well, taking consideration last year when people saw him play in the Arkansas game, he looked very well that first half, and I think he may have had one other game that he played a significant time and looked pretty well. But you got to understand that at that time, he was not the starting quarterback that everybody was depending on. I mean, the other guy was under suspension or whatever it was, and he may not have had the same pressure on his shoulders going into those games because he already knew that other guy was going to come in and he's the man. So, it's always a little easier to work in a spot or do something that when you're not the number 1 guy just for a short period of time, too. So take that in consideration.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Anthony. You got a prediction for us?
Yeah, I'm going to say based on what I think Will Muschamp's going to drop on defense, I think he's going to hold LSU to 20. I think LSU will win it 28. Auburn, I think, Gus Malzahn, I believe, will put together something and score at least 20 points. So I would say LSU 28, Auburn 20.
Okay, tiebreaker is Leonard Fournette rushing yards.
Rushing yards for who?
Leonard Fournette, the running back for LSU. I can promise you after you watch him Saturday, you won't say Leonard who.
I'm going to say 135 yards.
135. Okay, Anthony, we got you down, buddy. We appreciate it, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's go back to the phone lines. Fred, you're on Sports Call.
Yes, on your trivia question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Luke Donaldson?
Luke Donaldson is not correct. No.
Oh, my goodness. How many did he catch in one game? Didn't he catch like 19 in one game?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but that's not the record. The record would be 17 receptions.
17. Okay.
Yep.
Well, he didn't catch 19 then. He caught a bunch against Georgia one year over there in Athens. Maybe 87 or 89 or something like that.
Yeah, you're talking about Duke Donaldson, right?
Yeah, what did I say, Luke?
Yeah,
Donaldson?
Luke Donaldson. Yeah, Duke Donaldson. Yeah.
How many did he catch that day?
I don't know. I'd have to dig that up, but that's a good good question there. I want to pull that up.
Okay.
Fred, you got a prediction for us?
Yeah, Auburn 30, LSU 24.
All right.
We still got a believer out there.
Rushing yards for Leonard Fournette.
108.
108. I think Auburn, you like your chances if you hold Leonard Fournette just 108
that's
yards.
What I'm thinking too. That's what I'm thinking too. I don't think LSU's world beat.
No, not even close to that.
And if we just don't turn the ball over now, I realize that's a big if, but gosh almighty. Like, what do we have, 5 interceptions? How many fumbles lost? Just
2.
one?
Yeah, one, and then one on another one on the ground recovered. So got to hold on to it there, Fred. We got to go to break though, brother. We appreciate it.
Okay. Take care.
Thank you.
The Fox Sports Report's coming up next. Brett and I'll be back with hour number 2 right after this.
In the Southeast region, it's one of the best golfing values in the South. Visit their website for more information at auburnlinks.com. For tee times, call 887-5151.
There's nothing like the signature honey glazed spiral sliced ham from Honey Baked. Hey, this is Crystal. From catering corporate meetings to providing box lunches for your next event, Honey Baked Ham is just what you're looking for, including full meals with sides and desserts. Don't forget to stop by our deli for lunch and dinner, open 10 to 7, Monday through Saturday. You don't have to wait for the holidays. Plan your Honey Baked feast today. Give us a call at 741-8411. Stop by and see us on Gateway Drive in Opelika, or order online at myhoneybakestore.com. Honey Baked Ham, perfect every time. We guarantee it.
The Friends of the Auburn Public Library will host their fall book sale on Saturday, September 19th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Dean Road Recreation Center. The sale is open to the public, and thousands of gently used books will be available for purchase, including bestsellers, classics, fiction, nonfiction, and children's books. Most for either $1 or 50 cents. All proceeds from the sale benefit the Auburn Public Library, including the summer reading program and One Book, One Village. For more information on the fall book sale, call 334-219-0998 or email libraryfriendsapl@gmail.com.
This segment of Sports Call is brought to you by Bone and Joint Specialists. Orthopedic surgeons Dr. Paul Goldhagen and Dr. Martha George treat all injuries and conditions related to your bones, joints, and muscles. Located in Alexander City, Wetumpka, Sylacauga, and Dadeville. Bone and Joint Specialists, getting you back into the game
Get
of
straight
life.
to them because they've been holding.
You better buckle your seatbelts because it's going to be a show to watch.
From Tiger Communications.
Jackson, touchdown.
For 20 years, East Alabama's sports talk leader.
Swing and drive, Dalton right.
Sports Call.
Oh, what a dunk.
Call in now at 887-3401
Right through, he got it.
or 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free.
Struck him out.
And now, coming to you live from the loveliest village on the plains, Sports Call.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Call on this Tuesday afternoon. Andy Graham and Brett Pritchard here with you until 6 o'clock. Taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll free or locally at 334-887-3401 on the AO Tourism Hotline, and we'll go right to the hotline.
Drew, you're on Sports Call.
Hey, guys, how we doing?
We're great, Drew. How are you?
Good, man, good. I just wanted to call and kind of talk about Rudy Ford's comments. I don't know if y'all discussed this or not already. But basically he said Leonard Fournette shouldn't be that difficult to stop. And I think a lot of people may not like him saying that, but, man, I can dig it. I just kind of wanted to see what y'all thought about that.
Well, we got to get some confidence from somewhere.
Well, I don't have to tackle him, so
yeah, exactly.
It'd be easy for me to say that.
Yeah, well, Will Muschamp came out yesterday and was very complimentary of Leonard Fournette, the person, and the player, and he's an outstanding playmaker for LSU, and he's a hard runner. He ran over. There's still some tire marks on some of the Mississippi State defensive backs. So, but you know what? Good for Rudy Ford. Now he's got to go out there and back that up. Can't just talk about it. Got to go out there and back it up. But Rudy plays real hard for Auburn, and I thought he didn't play that bad on Saturday and came up with a big interception in the end zone. So hopefully, a little bit of momentum there as far as some smack talk going. Need to back it up on the field, though.
I agree. I think he's backed it up this year, too. I mean, I think he's had 23, 24 tackles through 2 games. So he's proven that he can tackle. I just hope he can prove it on the field as well. I hate for him to meet Leonard Fournette in the hole and get run over. But, I mean, I guess we'll see Saturday. So.
Yeah, Drew,
prediction for us?
Yeah, you got a prediction?
I'll say 24-17 Auburn. And Fournette, I'm going to back Rudy Ford. I'm going to say 70 yards.
70 yards. Okay, man. You got to like Auburn's chances if he only goes for 70 yards. Drew, we appreciate the call, okay?
Yes, sir. Y'all take care.
We appreciate it. You too. Go back to the phone lines. Will, you're on Sports Call. Hey, Will, you with us?
No, Will.
Hey.
Yeah, there he is.
Hey, there we go. Has anybody answered the trivia question yet?
Not yet. You want to give it a try?
Darvin Adams.
Darvin Adams. Good guess. Incorrect.
Incorrect. Oh, okay.
You got a prediction for us, Will?
Well, yeah, I think we're going to do good this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and call it 35-24 Auburn, and we're holding to, I'll say 103 yards.
103. Good job there, Will. We appreciate the prediction. Thanks so much. And
last year, hold Leonard Fournette to 42 yards rushing.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen this year. But you never know. Again, it's just the odd things from one week to the next. If you just base it completely off what happened last on this past Saturday, you wouldn't even think you'd need to go down there, get on the bus, and go down there. But Mississippi State last Saturday night, they got behind the 8 ball, but sold out. Said, "Look, all right, you're going to have to prove that you can do something other than run Leonard Fournette." And they stacked the box, and he proved he really couldn't do much and as a quarterback. And he's going to have to do. Brandon Harris is going to have to be somebody that I would force to beat me, and not let Leonard Fournette run for a record number of yards.
And LSU's thinking the same thing.
I know that.
Well, let's make Jeremy Johnson beat us.
Well, that's the same. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, Brandon Harris hasn't really proven he can throw it all against anybody. We just watched some highlights of where with the real Jeremy Johnson, please stand up, is what you said. We know what he's capable of doing. I don't know where that Jeremy Johnson's been so far this year, but we do have the capability of throwing the ball. And Duke Williams is still on our team, by the way. We saw that. I believe it or not, sometimes I wonder if they need to put an APB out for him.
I think there's this kid named Jason Smith.
Yeah, he's out there too somewhere. I mean, yeah, Tony Stevens, and there a guy named Tony Stevens out there. So anyway, so if you do get some things correct, you can throw it. I think our chance is a little bit greater than theirs. So we'll see how it plays out. Let's go back to the phone lines. Curtis, you're on Sportscall.
War Eagle, guys.
War Eagle, Curtis.
Hey, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the negativity. It's understandable that everybody's being real negative right now and real down on the team. But, I just like to put a positive spin on things. Auburn, in the past, especially 2013, we went from 3-9 to the national championship game. I mean, we have turned around terrible situations in a hurry before. I know this is a little bit different with JJ not playing so well, but I mean, even last year, we scored 7 points against Georgia, and then a couple weeks later, we found 4 against Prime City. So we've looked bad before, and then in the near future, looked great. I just want to get you guys' thoughts on that.
Yeah, Curtis. Wait, real quick, your prediction, though, on the game Saturday.
Okay. I think we're going to play well. I think we're going to turn it around. I'm going to go 27-24 Auburn. Leonard Fournette, 125 rushing yards.
We appreciate the call, Curtis, and we'll talk about what we'll answer your question there. I said it in the first segment of the show that I said it plays no bearing on what we could possibly see on Saturday. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, you can turn some things around, but you got to quit making mistakes. You got to quit shooting yourself in the foot, and you got to give yourself a chance to win. Your luck's going to run out over time. You continue to make mistakes to turn the ball over and limit your possessions like we've done the first couple of games. So just got to go back to the basics and show what got Auburn to where it is. Got to run the football and got to play well up front on defense trying to stop Fournette.
I think 2012 being so recent in our memories, everybody's still a little gun shy because we've seen things just go totally
easy to revert back to that. Yeah, no doubt.
And you're always afraid. And you look at this season and things are not going well. I think you make a good point that Auburn turns things around quicker than really anybody else. I know. We just watched highlights of Jeremy Johnson against Arkansas. I know there's potential there. Duke Williams, the same guy he was last year.
Can he? Somebody please get him the ball.
There's a lot of talent on this team. We just got to find a way to make it all work. Right now, we're just not. I don't think we've been in sync yet this year, offensively. So if everything starts to click, I think this offense can do and can be very, very productive.
And I think
the defense is what it is. We just got to start getting a little bit better. We got to get all hands on deck, and then maybe we can find some way to contain the running game on the outside.
And if you're LSU fans and you're LSU the team, I don't think you suck yourself into the thought process. Oh man, we got them reeling. We're going to blow them out. What you need to be thinking, and I think probably so from an LSU standpoint, man, this team over here is like a rattlesnake coiled up. They haven't been, like you said, hadn't been in sync yet. And if we don't want them to get in sync against us Saturday, and because it can get ugly quick. They proved that last year against LSU. So I think they're looking at it from that standpoint. Is we don't need to take them for granted because they've been struggling the first two games. We need to prepare for the team that everybody predicted to win the SEC, because if they do put things together like that on the offensive side, it could get to rolling downhill for Auburn, because things could start clicking.
Curtis, you still with us?
Yeah. It's mentioned Courtney Taylor.
No, it's not Courtney Taylor.
It is not Courtney Taylor. That's a great guess, though.
Appreciate it, Curtis. 1-888-9-TIGER 9-334-887-3401.
Trivia question again. Josh Barge had 14 receptions for the Gamecocks this past weekend. Who holds the Auburn record for receptions in a single season? I already gave out the number. It's actually 17 receptions in a game. Who was that receiver?
Yeah, it's a good question, and
a lot of good guesses so far.
Yeah, a lot of good guesses so far, but
all incorrect.
That's right. Since we've been talking about this, and we'll come back and talk about this some more. Texas without a
fires their AD.
Fires their AD. We'll get into that when we come back.
Yeah, Texas. They all have already moved their offensive coordinator into a different position after game 2. So a lot of moves being made at Texas right now, and none of them really good.
What has happened to that?
Things can be worse.
What has happened to that
things
program?
can be worse.
Yeah, we don't want to even go down that path, though. I mean, we don't want to get to that point as far as that. But what has happened to – how can Texas be this bad? I mean, a prominent football program with as much money as they have in the state that they're in, how are they that bad?
They're wondering the same thing.
And then when we talk about Brett Bielema's sometimes just keep your mouth shut. You sit there and run your mouth and look like a buffoon the week before you go off and lose to Toledo. And look, you're a running team, and I think what did Alex Collins have? 54 yards rushing on 8 or 9 carries, and then they end up throwing for 460 something yards and scored 12 points. What are they doing up there? Who's he trying to pick? And I saw a tweet said, you worried about Ohio State, then you lost to the 4th best team in Ohio. Okay, I mean, you lost to Toledo. Just shut up sometimes and go out there. He hadn't proved anything to anybody yet. No. And he's over there blabbing. I think he bought in a little bit of preseason hype too.
With the rough weekend for the SEC, is the SEC overrated? That's our question of the day. We're taking your predictions. Auburn at LSU, Leonard Fournette rushing yards, and the trivia question still out there. Who holds the Auburn record for receptions in a single game?
And Brendan Allen is who we thought he was.
He is who we thought he was.
And Jeremy Johnson is not who we thought he was.
Apparently not. Up against a break here, but don't go anywhere. More Sports Call, presented by Home Place Mortgage, is on the way.
Understand your People are getting hurt. When big trucks don't follow the rules of the road, that's when serious accidents happen. And that's when you need to call Kenneth Ingram Jr. We've got your back, and we'll fight to get you the maximum recovery. Make one call to Kenneth Ingram Jr., champion of the common man.
Cody Parkey last night. He had
212-9700.
several opportunities to beat Atlanta.
We got William on the phone.
Experience and knowledge from the pros. Russell Do It Center and Building Supply.
Russell Do It Center and Building Supply.
Well, I
Locally
had
owned and
two
operated
trivia
with over 30
questions
years
today,
of
but I don't know if we're going to
experience.
need
He's very
that.
involved in giving back to our community. Our employees offer top-notch customer service with superior product knowledge. No matter the size of the job. Russell Do It
I
Center
remember
and
that
Building
game
Supply have you
against
covered.
Arkansas. It was all second half.
Yeah.
Down 28-0.
Had a field goal in there to win
27-0.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sports Call on this Tuesday afternoon. Andy and Brett here with you until 6 o'clock, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-TIGER-9, toll-free locally at 334-887-3401 on the AO Tourism Hotline. Is the SEC overrated? That is our question of the day. And taking your predictions, Auburn at LSU, Leonard Fournette rushing yards being the tiebreaker. And the trivia question still out there. Many guesses, but not a correct one yet. Josh Barge had 14 receptions for the Gamecocks this past Saturday. Who holds the Auburn record for receptions in a single game?
Let's go back to the phone lines. William, you're on Sports Call.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
War Eagle, y'all.
How are you?
I'd like to take a shot. Doing pretty good. I'd like to take a shot at the trivia question. And pardon me if it's already been guessed and it's wrong, but is it Ronnie Daniels?
Ronnie Daniels, incorrect. That has not been guessed yet, but that's not correct.
Okay.
What's your prediction, William, on the game?
My prediction is the realist in me just doesn't feel very good about it. It's a tough environment and always been specifically tough for Auburn. Actually, I think the last time we got a win was when Ronnie Daniels was on the team.
That's right.
If I remember correctly.
You're right.
Down there. I'm gonna say it's close, closer than last week would indicate it would probably be, and I'm gonna say 35-27 LSU.
What's the rushing yards for Leonard Fournette?
He's an unbelievable back. I think he'll go for about 152.
152. William, we appreciate your call, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much. Let's go back to the phone lines. Derek, you're on Sports Call.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Derek?
I want to take a stab at that trivia.
Go for it.
Willie Gaucher.
Give that man a cigar.
There you go.
17 receptions against Arkansas in 1995. That's it.
Most of them in the second half.
Yep.
Derek, what's your prediction on Auburn LSU?
I think we're going to play good. I'm going to say 28-24 Auburn.
28-24 Auburn. And what's the tiebreaker is Leonard Fournette rushing yards. What you got there?
Give me 98.
98 rushing yards. And what did you win? What you did do is you put your name in the hat to be drawn out for a Sports Call prize pack. That's what we're doing now. So, but by winning, by getting the right trivia question or the right answer to the trivia question, your name goes in the hat with all the rest of the correct answers, and we'll draw that out at the end of the week. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
Hey, Derek, we appreciate your call, buddy. Thanks so much. Let's go back to the phone lines. Todd, you're on Sports Call. Hey, Todd, you with us? I don't think we have Todd anymore. So give us a call, 1-888-9-TIGER-9, 334-887-3401. And when you call in, just hang on. We'll get to you.
He probably wanted to answer the trivia question and then got answered, and he said, forget it.
Yeah, forget it. We'll maybe throw another one out there before it's all
Well, I said this in the first hour, and I think we need to remove all preseason expectations and perceptions about this team from our memory banks, and we just need to start over. Obviously we came in with an idea, at least I did. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but certainly I was not alone. We came in thinking Jeremy Johnson was going to be because he had played, he's been there 2 years. He's been in the Gus Malzahn system. He's been practicing it. He knows it. He played it in high school. He's just going to step on the field and play at an elite level, and that has not happened.
I want to go and do something here in the last 30 minutes. I want to go through and after 2 games, give your grade on each team. Andy, we'll start in the East, and we'll go to the phone lines real quick and pick up Rain Man, and we'll come back and do this. Rain Man, you're on Sports Call.
Hey, fellas, how's it going today?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing all right, all things considered. I've been on the Jeremy Johnson bandwagon for 2 years, and I assure you nobody's more disappointed in his play so far than I am. And I don't want to make excuses for him, but I'm going to ask you a question. What would you call the offense we've been running the last 2 weeks? Because it certainly wasn't hurry up, no huddle. I'm not even sure at times it was that much of a spread.
And somebody told me that I had somebody actually call me on the way home from the game Saturday. He said sometimes the way we line up, and I know it's in the shotgun, it looks like we're in the old Notre Dame box with them a double wing back there. And
the formations aren't what they were last year and the year before, 2 years before when Malzahn was offensive coordinator. We're not running the jet sweeps like we run them. We're not even running the read option half the time. It looks like the coaches aren't calling a read option run. They're just calling a run play, and he's just handing it off to the guy he's supposed to hand it off to. We're not even half staking it sometimes. At least before, whether it was Nick or whoever, when they did that little fake handoff, he stuck it all the way up in the running back's belly before he pulled it out. Half the time we line up, it looks like we're throwing the ball. Already what we're doing. I've had several non-Auburn fans, Alabama fans, and people tell me everybody in the country knows what play you're running half the time, it feels like, because it's obvious. It seems weird, as bad as Jeremy has played. The running game has been terrible. The offensive line has not been good. The defensive line has not been good. The defensive backs have not been good. The one bright spot on defense, I'm going to admit, is having Muschamp at defensive coordinator seems to have finally gotten what we're supposed to get out of Casanova McKenzie.
Yeah, Montravius Adams too. I mean, I think
and Montravius Adams has shown up a few times, but honestly, we got very little defensive line push against a very undersized Jacksonville State line. I know a couple of those guys were kind of chunky, but they clearly weren't the kind of athletes that we are supposed to have. This is the 7th consecutive year in a row our defense has been young and inexperienced. I mean, how long can you be consecutively young and inexperienced?
Yeah, I'm not buying into that anymore. I just think
it's time for that cliche to go the way of the dinosaur. I know we had to play a bunch of freshmen. We had some injuries, but the kid that did the targeting, and yes, Auburn fans, it was a target. I never even heard of him. He's out of the game. The commentators talking about what a big hit it is for us. I don't even know who he is.
Blake Countess,
transfer from Michigan.
Yeah, transfer from Michigan. So.
Well, exactly. He may be. I'm not saying it's just you don't expect.
No, he's a pretty good football player.
Say,
I understand.
Here, that guy's injured, and that's really going to hurt your defense. And you don't even know who the player is. If you said Montravius Adams was hurt, and I get it. I know who that is. I've heard of him. I know he's a quality player that's important to our team. It's shocking to me that people keep talking about the improvements in the defense. We've given up 24 points to an 0-2 Louisville team and 20 points to a Division II team. We haven't played anybody that great yet, really, honestly, like we're going to face the next 8-9 weeks. Some of these teams, I don't see the improvement in the defense. I really don't.
Certainly not on the ground.
You got a prediction for us, Rain Man?
I'm not going to predict the game this weekend. Honestly, I know we're having offensive lineman issues, people hurt, shuffling around, whatever. Who knows who's going to be back on the defense that's hurt or the people we're missing. I know we're supposed to get 3 defensive starters back. Are we going to figure out how to run the football? Are we going to figure out how to run the hurry-up, no huddle that we used to run?
I think we know how to run the football. We just got to give them a chance to run it. I mean, you need to call the right plays and let Peyton Barber run the football.
We're not calling good plays. There's bad play calling. It's top to bottom. As bad as Jeremy has been, it's only been equaled by how bad everybody else, from head coach to locker room attendant and everybody in between, seems to be doing right now. Yeah, it's just disgusting to watch at times. But we could win. We could get blown out. It just depends on which team shows up. I honestly don't know what to make of where we are right now. Like I said, it doesn't look like we're running the same offense anymore.
Good points there, Rain Man. We appreciate your call. Okay, buddy?
All right.
Thank you so much. Got to get to break.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. More Sports Call, presented by Home Place Mortgage, is on the way. Welcome back, everyone, to the Tuesday edition of Sports Call. Andy and Brett here with you for a couple of more segments, taking your phone calls at 1-888-9-Tiger-9 toll-free, locally at 334-887-3401. And we'll go back to the AO Tourism Hotline.
Go back. You got Spencer. You're on Sports Call.
How you guys doing today?
Good, Spencer. How are you?
Great. Hey, just a couple of quick observations. Is it possible that we became spoiled with some of the offensive line personnel we had? I mean, Greg Robinson, as recently as 2013, was just boiling holes in people. And that's, again, just one of the standouts we had. But we led the nation in number of yards before contact, on average, 5 yards a carry before anyone touched one of our runners. So, again, that does average out with some, home runs, jet sweeps where nobody touched anybody for 80 yards. Still, that's an astounding stat. We certainly do not have that now. That's one observation. The other observation, in the last time I threw a pass in a live game, Jimmy Carter was in office, okay? Not as governor, but as president. So I'm no expert. But what I can tell you is Jeremy Johnson is staring down receivers and not taking into account the defensive guys. I mean, he knows where his guy is that he's staring at, but he's oblivious to the guy in the other color jersey. We've got to fix that. Your thoughts?
How do you fix that, Spencer?
Here's a couple things you can do. One, Joe Theismann, at one point when he was with the Redskins, they would intentionally have him pump fake in a direction he was not going to throw the ball, and he knew that already. Then he could turn into the other side of the field where the safety is not just camped out and actually look for one of his primary or secondary receivers. Apart from that, I mean, then you're only left with really, really super safe routes, bubble screen and this straight out screen. And eventually people just going to sit short routes and just, crowd the field and also kill the running game. So I don't know. That's a very good question.
I think you're right on the offensive line, though. Everybody said, and we get so caught up in these things. Greg Robinson said, I think out of his own mouth, said, Sean Coleman is even stronger, than I am. He's out here doing all these things, these weights, and we all see Sean Coleman, and he was a 5-star recruit, and we always just automatically assume he's going to be great, but he is not. Greg Robinson, that's just a fact. We all look at Austin Golson and said he's even bigger, he's stronger, he can probably even be a more effective center. Well, he's not reached his mutes right now. So this offensive line, Braden Smith, he looked a lot better at guard than he did at tackle Saturday. So, we need Avery Young back. I've been very underwhelmed with our offensive line play so far this season.
There's no doubt about it.
Anyway, love the show.
All right, thank you, Spencer. We appreciate the call. 1-888-9-TIGER-9 334-887-3401. I want to get to these grades. Because after your question today was, is SEC overrated? I want to start in the East. We'll start with the obvious Vanderbilt. Is there a possible way to give an F-? Is there a grade that exists F-? What? But anyway, your thoughts on Vandy. Well, we'll go through these pretty quick. We won't stay too long on each one.
Yeah, I'll give them a D.
How in the world does Vanderbilt get anything less than an F?
They played competitive with Georgia for a half, and I think that's a step up from where they were last year.
They lost to Western Kentucky at the beginning of the season.
Hey, that Western Kentucky's going to beat them.
I'm not comparing them to us now, so I'm going one team at a time.
I will give them a D.
All right, we'll give them a D.
Look what they got to work with.
Well, I'm not considering what they're working with. I'm telling you to give a grade. So let's move on. Kentucky.
I'd give them a B+ right now.
I might even go higher than that. Kentucky from what coming out of the gate.
Let's see what they do against Florida.
Yeah, but there's this is that Kentucky team went 5-0 last year. We all thought, well, this is the time to go to Baton Rouge and get your brains beat out. So we just didn't finish the sentence. So we'll give Kentucky a B+.
Yeah, well, they had a big lead and then they gave it up against Louisiana Lafayette. They had a good lead and then they gave it up against South Carolina.
Yeah,
so,
but they did go on the road. They did go on the road and win a true road game.
That's true.
So that leads me into South Carolina. Ooh.
C-. I don't know what they have to work with, but they're not good.
C- for South Carolina, trending downward. They're Missouri.
They're C right now. They, You going?
They struggled.
Why are
they
you
struggled
going on the road to play Arkansas State? Anyway?
Yeah, I don't get that. That really baffles me. All right, the big three at the top now. If you want to call them the big three, start with Florida here.
I can give them a B right now. I mean, they're let's see what they do against Kentucky on the road,
and an A for the cussing for McElwain
and
Taylor.
That was one of the all-timer.
Boy, he lost his mind. But,
that was great.
But then he comes out and really praises Jim McElwain. Comes out and says, "Look, I got nothing to respect. I shouldn't do that." And I mean, he handled it really well. So,
what a player today doing a throat slash. I mean, that's the dumbest. I mean, how do you not go ballistic if you're a coach on that?
No doubt. Tennessee Volunteers.
They
had Oklahoma beat.
I give them a B right now because they were up 17-0. They should have won the game. I don't know what happened.
If they finish that game off, they've got an A.
Absolutely, A+.
Yeah. Georgia.
I think you give them an A- right now.
Yeah, A-. I mean, because the effort wasn't total dominance over Vanderbilt, but got the job done. Andy, so we'll flip over to the Western Division and we'll start with Mississippi State.
Well, what's your grades for these, by the way?
Well, I'm just going with your grades right now, and then we'll come back.
For who? Mississippi State?
Yeah, Mississippi State.
I give them a C- right now.
C- for Mississippi State.
That was a good comeback against LSU, but that was a bad performance against Southern Miss.
I mean, but they were the cellar dweller predicted about the media. I might almost be willing to give them a B after that because of, no expectations really. Dak Prescott's got a lot of pressure on his back and thought he really carried the team in that game, and they had a field goal chance. If they don't get a delay of game there, and that was on Dan Mullen, I mean, they're 5 yards closer. You don't know what happens there, but I'll say B for Mississippi State. We'll go to Texas A&M next.
I give them an A. I mean, beating Arizona State like they did.
And jumping up, I agree with you totally. Taking care of business last week. They got no love preseason. Auburn got all the love. Auburn looks terrible right now. Texas A&M is playing with a chip on their shoulder, and they're up there in the top 25 now. Arkansas, a lot of high expectations with this team going in.
I think they
got to be a D right now.
Yeah, they got to have a D because I mean you can't lose to Toledo. I mean that's
borderline F. That's borderline F. But
it's not conference, so you're not totally.
No, it's not. But you lose to a MAC team, and it's an F. Yeah. I mean, for me, I just think based on expectations out of the first two games, F for me. You got a D. Okay,
I'm gonna give them a D.
Ole Miss.
I give them an A right now.
How can you not give them
A+?
I'm giving them an A+.
Yeah.
I mean, because
they've not played. They played.
They have
high school
not, but
teams,
they've scored 70+ points twice. And their
impressive.
defense looks good. Now they'll have a true test on the road, but up until this point, grading out, I'm going to give them an A+. LSU. But only one game. Only one
game, and they won it. I give them a B+.
I'll give them a B+ too. I'm agreeing with you there because they go on the road and avenge a loss last year that they had at home and take care of business. Let Mississippi State come back in the game. Could have easily lost right there at the end, but held on. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
I give them an A.
I give them an A. I definitely give them an A. They took care of Wisconsin, and even though it wasn't pretty at times Saturday, they took care of business. I'll give them an A. Our Auburn Tigers, we'll end with them. I mean, they are 2-0. They do beat Louisville, which at the time you didn't know what Louisville had. They jumped out, and it was a comfortable lead there for a long time. Andy and Louisville came back, but it's just hard to shake. We've got to get another game under our belt to eliminate the memories of this past Saturday. But right now, I'm going to give Auburn a C.
I'm going to give them a D+ because they are 2-0, but they have lost both games.
I'm going to say C-. And you say D+, I say C-, which is right there basically in the same boat. But, so you look at these grades through 2 weeks of the season, we gave out 3 A's. We gave an A to Georgia, which was an A-. We gave an A+ to Ole Miss, and we gave an A to Alabama. And then that's really it. LSU got a B+, Tennessee got a B, Florida got a B, Kentucky got a B+. You look at it, we gave Arkansas a D and an F. We gave Auburn a C- and a D+. Auburn, to me, would be a D- if they would, or an F if they had lost to Jacksonville State.
F-.
F there, yeah, exactly. And then Obviously, Vanderbilt with a D as well. I mean, a couple of C's out there. We got Mississippi State. You gave them a C, Missouri a C, and South Carolina a C minus. So I don't know. That's your grades through 2 weeks in the SEC, and just not. And so going off these grades, go back to your original question of the day: is the SEC overrated?
Right now, yes. I mean, 10 teams being ranked after week 1 in the SEC.
The media does have a love obsession.
Don't get me wrong. I still think the SEC is the best conference in America. But you look at Auburn, number 6 in the country. They're a huge disappointment so far. Arkansas was number 18 in the country. Huge disappointment right now. Florida, nobody really thought much of them, but they
hold their own right now.
They hold their own. Tennessee, they were supposed to be the team. This was their chance to move forward. They didn't. You score 17 points against Oklahoma, and I'm not sure Oklahoma's the best team.
Oklahoma's not very good either. But, I mean, Oklahoma came on the road, and you got to give them credit being down 17-0. They chipped away. And I thought Tennessee missed an opportunity at home in Neyland Stadium, 4th and goal. Instead of kicking a field goal there, you may go on and try to go for a touchdown there. If you don't get it, they got to go 99 yards. You're at your home field. You're trying to prove a point. You need to take advantage of it.
I don't look at Georgia and look at Grayson Lambert and say, boy, this guy is going to take them to the SEC East title. I don't think they get there with him at the helm. But maybe he will improve too. Hopefully I'm going to see improvement out of some other quarterbacks.
We just never thought. I mean, I look over here and a D+ and a C- for Auburn after 2 weeks. That's just –
it's
very
disappointing.
Very disappointing.
It's disappointing.
It's not even midterm yet, though.
This is true.
This is your first test.
This is a pop quiz.
This is a pop quiz, and we didn't do real well because we weren't prepared. And so, know what we got to do now. You got to buckle down. That's what you had to do in school, right, Andy?
Session.
And you put yourself behind the 8 ball. You got to either dig your way out or fail.
That's right.
I mean, so you know what you're faced with now.
Up against the break, but don't go anywhere. One final segment of the Tuesday Sports Call, presented by Lee Marketing Group, right after this.
Whether you're commercial or residential, sunshine.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final segment of the Tuesday Sports Call. Andy and Brett here taking you home to 6 o'clock. Still time to get that final phone call in. 1-888-9-TIGER-9 toll-free or locally at 334-887-3401 on the Auburn Opelika Tourism Hotline. We are taking your predictions all week. Auburn at LSU. Leonard Fournette rushing yards will be the tiebreaker. NFL got underway this weekend. Not a any big surprises to you down through these lists here? Carolina gets off to a good start. They win 20-9.
Didn't really play anybody though.
Cam Newton 18-31, 175, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 35 yards rushing. But how about Tennessee versus Tampa Bay?
That's where you need to start.
These are going to be, this just happens when you have these number one versus number two guys. They're just going to be intrinsically linked throughout their careers.
Sure they are.
And Marcus Mariota comes out 13-16, 209, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That's a QBR of 95.7. Winston 16 of 33, 210. 2 TDs, 2 picks. That's a QBR of 6.7.
Somebody said after the game that Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston had one thing in common. Their first touchdown pass was to the Titans. So Jameis Winston, he looked horrible in that game, and Mariota looked. He looked spot on. Now that doesn't mean in the NFL things can change rapidly, but. Right now, if you go back and look at John Gruden and Mel Kiper and what they were talking about the NFL-ready quarterback, to me, after a game head-to-head, the irony there is Mariota, no question, looked a lot more ready than Jameis Winston. We'll see how the rest of the season goes for Jameis Winston. A lot of people are going to be watching him because as many people that were high on him, a lot of people deep down felt like he could really, really be a bust in the NFL because of the things he'd done off the field and the concentration level and being able to do the things he needs to do because he threw a lot of picks at Florida State, even in the year they won the national championship. So it'll be fun to monitor those two quarterbacks.
Definitely. That was one of the more interesting ones over the weekend. The Jets beat Cleveland 31-10 there in New York. Johnny Manziel comes in relief after McCown has a concussion. Johnny Manziel, 13 of 24, 182 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, had 35 yards rushing.
2 fumbles.
Also had 2 fumbles. So he had 3 turnovers in that game. Certainly not what you're looking for and only putting up 10 points for Cleveland. That seems about right, I guess.
Yeah, I think you're right. Nothing special for sure. The biggest blown game, the biggest bonehead game was Dallas and New York. New York had it all wrapped. This is 2 years in a row now. This has happened to New York against Dallas, by the way. If you want to flash back, and I even talked about that while New York was driving, said, look now, when we thought Tony Romo and them were out, and was it not typical Tony Romo on the touchdown pass? He dropped the ball. You're just like, here we go again.
Well, it was a terrible snap.
It was a terrible snap, but he dropped it, and it's rolling around back there, and he's able to picks it up, fires it. Jason Whitney scored. Why is the linebacker 2 yards in the end zone? Who's he covering? Don't you need to be in front of the goal line? But anyway, Eli Manning, 3rd and goal, 1 minute and 37 seconds on the clock. He rolls out. They go play action now.
Well, it's a stupid call.
It's a dumb call first, but you got to know Eli Manning's got to take a sack there, fall down.
He does.
All right.
Well, now he says that he told the running back on first down, don't score. You could go up by 10.
Why would you not score?
He tells him don't score. Now, I think I'm not sure that would have really mattered.
Bottom line is they blew that all the way around. It was a horrible implosion at the end of that game, and Dallas comes down, and they would have had 45 seconds at best getting the ball back if they would have just fell down and kicked the field goal there. But they left way too much time. Dallas comes down the field and scores for 6 seconds on the clock, and it's over.
Is it not incredible, though? You watch this week in and week out in the NFL, how good these guys are. Tony Romo, that's how a 2-minute drill is supposed to look. You got 1 minute and 30 seconds. They get the ball, no timeouts. They got to go 78 yards.
He went right down the field.
He made it look easy.
Yeah, he made it look like backyard football.
He's in the shotgun. They roll the snap back there. He's back there he just calmly picks it up and fires it.
He's been there so many times, and he's like, here's another one on the ground. I just got to pick it up and throw it. A couple more there. Minnesota looked horrible last night against San Francisco. Atlanta gets off to a 2-point win against Philadelphia. I thought that was a little surprising there. A lot of naysayers out there with Chip Kelly. And the surprise, Buffalo just destroyed Indianapolis. Andrew Luck. I mean,
that was shocking. But I mean, you knew when Rex Ryan went to Buffalo, they were going to be a much tougher, especially on defense. But Tyrod Taylor, I mean, all of a sudden, he did a very good job at Virginia Tech, and
I don't know if he did a very good job. He did a pretty good job.
He was a guy that was difficult to handle. I mean, they've kind of fallen off the map.
Well, he did good. I mean,
he's been kind of apprenticing under Joe Flacco in Baltimore, and then he gets an opportunity at Buffalo, and
he showed out.
He really had a great day.
Well, I want to go up there real quick to Houston. Hard knocks on Houston, and they come back to make it a little bit closer, but we're really getting drilled the whole time. They pull. They pull the starter there and bring in Ryan Mallett. But
J.J. Watt,
is he not just unbelievable?
Wow, man. 9 solo tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 3 quarterback
hits. If Jadeveon Clowney will just live up to billing, half of billing on one side, it'd be ridiculous defensively.
You wouldn't be able to function.
He's giving up 27 points. So J.J. Watt can't do it by himself.
He can't. That's going to do it for us on the Tuesday edition of Sports Call. Thanks so much for joining us. Sports Call back on the air tomorrow. Will and Tom Peavy will be with you at 4 o'clock. For Brett Pritchard, I'm Andy Graham saying so long for now, everybody.